What's up guys, Blake here from GuideToVaping.com, and today we're going to be looking at the UD pre-made Clapton wire. Alright, so if you're like me, you love looking at coil porn. And if you're one of those that do not know what coil porn is, it's basically pictures of complex coil builds. But even though we love looking at those pictures, it's not always the easiest thing to build them. I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to build the Clapton coil a few times, and each time I fumbled. It's not one of the most easiest coils to make. But if you're wanting to step up your game with coils, then you'll definitely need to learn how to build one. And that's because most of the more complex coil builds out there are based off the Clapton coil. However, there is a solution out there for you guys that have fumbled just like me, or that just don't even want to fool around with it. And that's this spool of Clapton wire made by UD. So pretty much UD or UD has already pre-made this Clapton wire for you. They offer this 15-foot Clapton wire on a spool for you. The Clapton wire is made of Kanthal A1 and it uses 26 gauge for your inner wire and then uses 32 gauge for your outer. And for those of you who do not know what Clapton wire is, basically it's a 26 gauge wire in the middle, and then they take 32 gauge and wrap it around it. Since there's so much wire involved in this build and it's using 26 gauge, this is one of those wires that's going to take a little while to ramp up. And one thing about this wire is with the way that it's designed, it can hold a lot of liquid. In fact, even though I don't recommend it, you can use this wire without any wicking at all and just squirt a few drops on there and you'll get at least 2 or 3 pulls. Again, I don't really recommend that. That's just an example of how much e-liquid this wire itself can hold. And for me personally, this wire is more geared towards producing bigger clouds. Yes, I do get a good amount of flavor from it, but it's more so geared towards me pushing out a bigger vapor production. So the next thing we need to do is build with this Clapton wire. So let's dive down and take a look. Alright, so you are now looking at the packaging for the Clapton wire made by UD. And now you are looking at the Clapton wire itself. As you can see at the top, it says Kanthal A1. And the spool is 15 foot. It uses 26 gauge and 32 gauge. Here's a better look at the wire itself. We're going to be building today on the 521 tab by Coilmaster. Let's first start by pulling off this old Clapton build. Now we're going to cut some wire. And since we're making a dual coil, we're going to be cutting another piece. Now you're going to take your wire and a 2.5mm screwdriver and wrap your coil. You want to have 6 wraps. You want to take your other lead and pull it down. That'll give you your 6 wraps. Push it down hard on the back. Pull out any excess. Now straighten out your lead. Then you're going to wrap another coil like so. Bend it around, straighten it out and push it back. excess. Try to straighten out your lead. Now we're going to insert the coils that we just made. Once you have it positioned, tighten it down. Make sure you have your coil positioned where you want it. Make sure it's still tight. Now you'll want to clip off your leads. Now you're going to insert your next coil. Push your screwdriver through the coil so you can position it. Once you have it where you want it, screw down that screw. Screw down the other screw. Position your coil where you want it. Now clip your leads. Now I would normally use my ceramic tweezers, but since my ceramic tweezers are basically stand no chance against this thicker wire, I'm going to be using something a little bit thicker, such as these needle nose pliers. Now I'm going to place the 521 tab into fire mode. So now we're going to fire up this Clapton, get it red hot, and then we're going to squeeze it a bit. Let's turn it around and do the other side. Now you want to keep doing this until it starts glowing correctly. It should start glowing from the inside of the coil out, but with this Clapton it's a bit harder to get it like that. You can see this side's already starting to do right. That looks about it. About as good as we're going to get it. So now let's check the resistance. We're at 0.39. In the next part of the video I actually took before I made this build. I used the old build that I had, so I didn't have to reset up my camera. But I used the same amount of wraps and basically on the same screwdriver. So that will tell you it's not always going to be the same. You know, a lot of factors really go into these coils. So for me personally, I've never been able to replicate the ohms on these Clapton coils for some reason. So now that we're done doing that, we're going to cut some cotton and wick those coils. Now you want to take something small and push that cotton down. When you're wicking your coils, make sure that you have space under the coil. So once you push it down like I just did, get your screwdriver or whatever you're using and kind of open up that space underneath the coil. Now let's do the same thing to the other side. On this side you can see that I should have left a little bit more cotton, but it's going to be alright. Now we're going to take some of this e-liquid from vape juice and put just a bit on our coils. One thing you'll begin to realize is that these Clapton coils hold quite a bit of juice. Now let's take it to the other side and put some juice on this coil. As you can see, I smother my coils because I absolutely hate dry hits, as most people do. Alright, so now that we have liquid on there, let's switch this 521 tab to the firing mode. Now we're going to fire it off. Alright guys, now that you've seen the Clapton wire up close, it's time to see how well it performs. I'm currently using the Homewrecker mod with a Mutation X V3 and I'm pushing 0.21 ohms on 57 watts. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video on this Clapton wire made by UD. If you would like to pick this up, you can go to gearbest.com. As always, thank you guys for watching the review. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to hit like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.